So, hello everyone. Welcome. We actually have a name. I hope everyone's holidays are good because in that time we put our heads together.
We did a couple things, couple things.
we came up with a name. Our podcast is now called "In Charge of the
Are
Girls."
you in charge of the girls?
Do you want to give us a little for the? We'll talk about history in a
Yeah,
second, but do you want to give a
cause
little like
y'all
where
don't,
that comes
yeah,
from?
cause y'all don't be knowing the kids is very disappointed. Y'all don't be knowing your cultural history. So there is a movie. So first of all, if you didn't watch the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix, I don't recall what it's called, but it's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, yeah.
Please watch it. It is excellent. Eddie Murphy is like the comedian of our time. I don't care what nobody says. You can like who you want to like because I like other comedians too, but nobody has done it like Eddie.
Yeah.
So anyway, he had a movie called Harlem Nights, which is isn't as funny as if it's not as
It's
funny as
pretty
it's
up
up
there.
there. It has so many quotes in it, and so in charge of the girls. I'm forgetting the actress's name. What is that
Oh yeah,
phenomenal actress's name?
yes.
The one from Touch My Angel that your grandmother
Della
made you
Reese.
watch, Della Reese. If you had a grandmother make you watch Touch My Angel, Della Reese. She plays a madam, and it's a whole thing, but like it's a funny
Yeah,
scene, but like
it's a lot
she
of back
runs-
and forth.
It's a lot of back and forth. She runs a brothel, and there's money is up missing. So it's Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, Della Reese. Who else? That they would know. Jasmine Guy, who's
everybody
the
is
guy
in
that
this
plays the
movie.
Italian cop.
Everybody's in this movie.
Everybody's in this movie. It came out in like the early '90s, and so there's some money missing, and so she's like, "Well, I don't know anybody," and so they're like, "Well, are you in charge of the girls?" She's like, "I am in charge of the girls." So that's where it comes from.
Yes.
But you gotta watch the movie if you've not seen it. It's a classic. It's a American classic. I swear.
Yeah, it's a little history for you there.
Mhm.
But yes, we now have a name. We are back from the holidays. I'm refreshed. I don't know about you, Kelly.
I am. I
Uh,
had a very good holiday. Just not very. I didn't do a bunch of stuff.
yeah, it was low key.
Yeah.
So for me though, what I ended up doing was I had put this plan in motion several months ago. So I already sort of knew exactly how my holidays were going to go, probably back in October. But me and my husband ended up going to the U.S. Virgin Islands, which was very lovely. The actual like part of being in St. Croix where we were, that was amazing. I love St. Croix. I'm looking at potentially trying to figure out a way to
Did
retire
y'all
down there.
get the hotel or the B&B?
We did a
Airbnb?
villa.
Okay.
So and it's a villa that like we stayed in before. We haven't stayed in that specific one, but we've stayed in like this little community of villas before. The issue though with the trip was United. So United, which
Boo.
I actually don't feel too strongly about United. I hate American Airlines. That's really the only airlines that's like, and obviously the budget airlines, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna have me Fred Flintstone in a plane. Like I'm not gonna
Right.
be
You gotta
beating
take
my
turns
feet trying
flying
to
it.
get up out. Absolutely not. So outside of the budget airlines and American, like everyone else is sort of just like meh because I've had issues with all of them. But specifically with United, we had an issue where we had a quick layover in St. Thomas. St. Thomas to St. Croix is like a
Yeah,
30,
I've been to
40
St.
minute
Thomas.
flight. Like
Y'all
literally
coulda
you can
took a boat.
see St. Croix from
Yeah.
St.
Y'all
Thomas
could have
essentially.
took a boat and got over there.
Well, I'll tell you about that part in a second. So essentially, we had a hour and a half layover between once arriving in St. Thomas until we took our flight to St. Croix. And so plenty of time, like because the size of the plane that you get on, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
Cessna,
a
a
puddle.
Cessna 402.
Puddle jumper.
Yeah, literally like I think we got up to like 6,000 feet in the air, and then we come right back down. Didn't even crack 10,000 feet. And mind you, like on a normal flight, when you
That's
fly,
the kind of plane Aaliyah died in.
in a normal flight, when you're flying like on a jet, like the plane that we took down from Newark to St. Thomas, we were hovering around like 37,000 feet the most of the
Regular
flight.
plane, yeah.
So anyway, the issue came in is right before we took off from Newark, we had the pilot came on and he was like, "Hey," and when I say right before, I mean 5 minutes before. Like they were about to close the doors, everything. The pilot comes on the captain. He's like, "Hey, so just want to let everyone know that my second pilot has been called away, unfortunately, from some emergency
I
like
was
staffing
to
purpose.
Glory? Like where?
It's like for some emergency staffing." And because of that, we can't take off. And I don't know when we're going to get another
These
pilot.
airlines just be doing whatever.
We were like, wait a second. Now, I understand something may have been going on another flight, but like our flight is ready to go. We all did what we needed to do. Everyone's here. The stewardesses, they're about to close the doors. We're about to take off. This is a 7 a.m. flight, mind you. And so he's like, yeah, so like I'm gonna make some calls to see what happens next. And so we are sitting there, and then like 20 minutes later, he's like, okay, so they're gonna try to get, another pilot to come from another plane, but he may not be here for at least 30 minutes. And so, long story short, when it comes to that portion, we ended up not taking off for an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh.
I told you how long the layover was. Now,
shorter than the flight.
And so we finally take off. Me and my husband are sitting there being like, man, we probably not going to make this layover. Let's see if we can get on another flight to St. Croix. And so we're like, he's messaging Delta or United in the app being like, hey, like, can you help us figure out another flight? Because we're not going to make this connection.
And they're like, no, we can't.
Well, no. Then they were just like, oh, okay, yes, no, we have this flight at, our flight was supposed to be at 1:05 p.m. And they're like, we have another one at 4:44 p.m. We were like, not ideal, but fine. This is December 30th, so we're trying to get there before New Year's Eve at least. And so we're just like, cool, we got it all settled. I'm watching my movie. He's over here doing his thing. We land, and we go to get onto the next flight, and they're like, oh, that flight doesn't exist. And we were like, what do you mean it doesn't exist? And they were like, that's not a flight. Like, we're not flying out from St. Thomas to St. Croix at 4:44. And then we re-looked at the confirmation that they sent us. These people booked us on a flight from St. Croix to St. Thomas. That is our final destination. You booked us from our final destination back to where we currently are. And so we were like, okay, fine. What's the next flight? And this is where everything just absolutely unraveled. They were like, so we have no more flights today. And we're like, okay, fine. It's the middle of the day. It's the afternoon. Of course, that makes sense. You don't have no more flights today. What do we got tomorrow? And they go, we have no flights tomorrow. And I said, so when can I fly out then? They said, you can fly out in 2 days. I said, do you understand that?
They don't care.
I said, we had an hour and a half layover, and then we were supposed to be at our final destination. Are you telling me because y'all fucked up and misstaffed some flights, not even our flight, some flights in the system, that little delay caused us to not get to our final destination for 2 whole business days? And they were like, yeah.
You know why that is?
Why was it?
Because when Joe Biden was president, he passed a law that said they couldn't do shit like that because they would have to refund you, and then they would bust their ass to make sure that they helped you. But your boy, who y'all voted for, now he rescinded that, so now they don't have to give a fuck. They already got your money.
Yeah,
bitch, they could give you some fish fins and tell you to figure it out.
Yeah, Department of Transportation is just like, they can literally have you on that tarmac for a smooth 25 hours, and they'll be like, so we don't owe you nothing. Get up off our plane.
Get up off our plane. Get your shit. Go.
So yeah, they ended up putting us, like, we were like, that's absolutely not gonna work for us. And so, like, I went back and forth with the agents at the airport. I was calling corporate number. Everyone being like, we can't put you on a flight that doesn't exist. I was like, but find another airline.
Help us out.
I was like, you got to figure this out. And so what we ended up doing initially, when you talk about a boat, there is a ferry that goes, but it is 2.5 hours, and it's nicknamed the Comet, the Vomit Comet. Because the water is so choppy.
Rough.
I mean, you're going across like open ocean. Like, it's not a bay. Like, you're literally going across the Caribbean Sea. And my husband gets pretty motion sick.
Oh, really?
And so we were just like, man, that is not it. And so he just kept looking. And in the meantime, we were like, okay, we're going to take this, ferry to get to the island, to St. Croix. And so United was like, okay, that's fine. What we'll do is we'll put you, but the ferry wasn't going to leave till the next day. And so they were like, United said, we'll put you up in a hotel for the night, and, we'll pay for your transportation to the hotel, and we'll give you some, like, food vouchers.
Thank you.
And I was like, oh, thank you so much, because not like y'all didn't cause this.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't even
Thanks
have to
for
do
not
all
making
this.
us sleep on the beach.
And so whatever, checking out the hotel. We stay the night, or we are get tucked in for the night, and we're just like, fine, we'll get up. You take this afternoon ferry over. My husband was just like, no, I'm not doing this. And so he kept checking for flights, and he found on this airline called Cape Air that does the small flights. Last minute, like 11 a.m. flight the following day. And so thankfully we were able to refund our ferry tickets, and we were able to buy. We still had to pay out of pocket now. We had to pay for our flights to get on Cape Air flight to go to St. Croix. But man, like, and then we finally got there the following day. Trip itself was fine. Coming back, tell me why they lost our bags. We was like, are you kidding me?
They don't,
how you gonna lose a bag? This time we didn't fly through St. Thomas. We flew through Puerto Rico. We stopped in San Juan. We stopped in San Juan for our layover. Yeah, nigga, coming back. We saw them load our bags up to the plane, because mind you, it's still the little Cessna 402. We saw them load our bags onto the plane, and we were like, cool, everything's fine, copacetic. We land in Newark, and we're just like, okay, sitting there waiting for the bags to come out, and then we check in the app, and next thing we see is just like, oh, this was never loaded onto your second flight. Why was the bag never loaded onto the second flight, y'all? Please. And then we had to fight. I just got it resolved last week.
Yeah.
Mind you, we left on December 30th, got back on January 9th, January 8th, and this was just resolved on, like, the 19th.
They don't care.
I was like, bruh. And multiple calls, multiple emails, me having to put Esquire at the end of all my goddamn emails. I'm like, listen, I need you to know that there's an attorney you are dealing with here. And all of this is in writing for a reason. Because when I have to go to the Attorney General of New Jersey, I'm going to have to send all my receipts being like, yup, and this was them lying again and again right here. But anyway, that was our holidays. Oh, and Harrisburg is cute too. We went to go see my family in Harrisburg, which was fun. But it was like, it wasn't as cold as it is now. Like, it's fucking 10 degrees right now.
It's brick ass outside today.
It is literally 10 degrees right now. I'm not kidding you, y'all. It is 10.
That's an official temperature, brick ass.
Yes. Yeah, it is brick. But anyway, how was your holidays?
So it was very cool. So as y'all can see, I'm coughing. I don't know if it was bronchitis. I don't know what it was, but I had to go. It was going around the office because them people get everything. So I had to go get that, that little 5-pack antibiotics they give you.
Yeah.
So it's just now clearing out. So I'm not as bad as I was, but bear with me with the cough and this last bit coming out. So anyway, the holiday was cool. I already had decided that we were gonna stay because number one, I know y'all love y'all travel plans, but I'm not fucking with this administration like that. Like I mean,
listen, they're cutting up now.
They just doing whatever, and it's nobody to appeal to. So I was like, let's stay home. So we stayed in Maryland. My wife's brother came. So normally before we got back together. She would go down to Georgia to see her family, but we didn't go last year and we didn't go this year. But her brother came to see us. Now her brother, I have been hearing about the ribs he makes for like years and years. I can't even imagine. He makes these ribs, and it's not that I didn't believe him, but. Everybody say that. Oh, they ribs is good. And you eat it. It's just like regular barbecue. Like, okay, yeah, they good. You only really recognize bad food, right. So I'm like, all right, sure. So he comes up. We go to Costco. We get the rib. And then we go to the store. And when we went to the store, he wouldn't let me see like what he was getting. See, I wasn't really trying to look, but I noticed he was like. I'm like, all right, but it was whatever it was. Well, I don't know. The part I saw was a dry rub because we were in the aisle. I saw him like grab some of the Kinders, but he didn't grab very much. Whatever he had like 3 bottles. He didn't grab very much.
Yeah.
We came back. They were both in the kitchen. He did the ribs, put them in the refrigerator. So I was sure they were going to be good, but I wasn't like so. Yeah. He pulls it. We got a regular old charcoal grill because gas I don't really believe in, not for barbecue. Pull the charcoal grill out. He makes the ribs. So my wife's cooking everything. Like, it's only 3 of us. She cooking like it's an army. Mac and cheese, greens, the ribs. What else we have? a whole bunch of shit, a bunch of desserts. She made this. My wife is a baker. Her and her nephew. She's a really good baker. Both of them really good. I mean, she made this. What it was? It was a sweet potato cheesecake. She claimed it wasn't good. It was ruined. Her brother's name is Luke. Me and Luke fucked that cheesecake up. That cheesecake was delicious. She was trying to throw it out. We was like,
she's like,
we'll take it over here. Thank you very much. That cheesecake was delicious. Man, Lucas, that boy made those ribs were delicious. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know what he did to them. They weren't. So I like barbecue, but I know a lot of people don't like North Carolina style, like the vinegar-based barbecue. Yeah. So I do. I like that. I like the other styles of barbecue too, but I don't necessarily like the really sweet Memphis style and smothered
super saucy.
In sauce. Yeah,
I'm not a super saucy person either.
I don't need that. Like if you make the rib right, in my opinion, you don't even need sauce. You can still add it, but you don't need
you can like dip it in the sauce. You don't even
Right.
actually need to put it on there, really.
These ribs, they didn't have no salt. They were just regular barbecue ribs, smoked on the grill, no sauce. And they were so tender and so good, and they weren't overpowering. They weren't super salty. Luke, whatever you do to the ribs, I'm on your list now. Your ribs is amazing. 'Cause apparently, it was like a big to do that he wasn't going to be down there because he would make the ribs for them down there. So the fact that he was coming up there, it was like, what? So we did that. And I just got sleep. I was so tired. We're usually normally tired by the end of the year, but this year I was especially tired. I don't know why.
I know why. Have you been paying attention? I
guess.
Listen, it is actually doing something to us that we don't even realize. Like we power through and we get through it, but like it's tiresome to see like our country falling apart.
It is, but I swear to God, I told Tucker, my boss, I was like, if everybody gonna be stupid, I just can't worry about it. Like, I'm seriously, I'm not, I did what I was supposed to do in November. I tried to tell everybody what's gonna happen. Nobody wanted to listen. Everybody thinks it's a joke. Some people still think it's a joke. And I'm like, you saw what happened in the first 4 years. You wanted more of that, so now you got it. So deal with it. I'm not gonna stress about it. I'll worry about it when I have to worry about it. If I'm walking down the street and somebody asks me for my ID, then I'll figure it out then. But I'm not worried about it because nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to pay attention. Everybody thought it was a game. And so now here you go running for your life in 12 degrees, and I don't know what to tell you.
But I also agree. I was quite tired as well. Like I slept so much when we were down there.
And that's all I did. I slept. And normally, like, I'm not we old now. Back in the day, when I was little, and I used to stay over my grandmother's house when I was in high school and stuff, and I did a lot of activities, I would get up at 10 a.m. and she'd be like, oh, Lord, you slept the whole day away. And I'm like, because normally for school, I get up at 0:30. So I'm like, this whole holiday, I slept 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I don't think I slept past 10 o'clock, but I would pop up like, oh, Lord, I slept the whole day away. Like, now I know what they mean, but like, it was so good. It was good to like just go to bed when you wanted. Wake up when you want it. You don't have to worry about anything. Like, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Oh, I guess I'm gonna put my house clothes on. And I was building Legos.
Oh, okay.
I built some Legos, trying different stuff. Oh, the damn, it was just because I took an extra week. I always take, like we get the 2 weeks for the holiday. And then I take that extra week the first year of, because I feel like you're not necessarily dependent on how you spend your holiday. If you got a lot of family ripping and running, you're not necessarily relaxing.
No,
you're not.
No.
So that extra week, most people, that first week back, you ain't doing shit anyway.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so I was like, I actually came back from the holiday January 12th, whatever
Same.
that Monday
That was when I started back.
Yeah, perfect. So it was just a relaxing holiday. I don't know what we'll do next year if we make it to the holiday next year, but this year was just great. We went to the movies. We went to different restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't just in the house, but like, there was no rush. Her brother was there, so we took him. He had never been to Maryland before.
Oh, wow.
So we took him. We showed him National Harbor. Is that where the big wheel is?
Sure. That sounds right.
I think that's what it's called there. We wanted to take him. Where did we want to take him? But it was like snowing, so we couldn't go. But anyway, we showed him around. He's from Georgia, Macon, Georgia. Never been to Maryland. He liked it. we took him to the weed dispensary.
Ah, yes.
So he got some different kind
I
of
be
weed.
forgetting they don't have like it's not legalized everywhere,
Right.
so I be forgetting.
He was like a kid in the candy store. He was like, I can't believe this, and they had him in the jar. He kept showing it. He kept going in and out and smoking it. And I was like, he was like, man, I can't believe this legal. And I was like, yeah, because I don't really smoke like that. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's gonna be edible for me. I'm not a smoker.
Even that, it's like I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna sound like a real nerd lame here. I don't like feeling outside of myself. I really don't.
Okay,
like
that's
feeling.
real.
I don't, and I guess that's what like when I told you about the nightmare edible.
Yes.
I kept thinking the whole time. What is going on in your life? How tragic is your life that you would rather feel like this all the time? Because I just felt insane. I was like, this gotta.
Now, what if it was like a dosage thing where it's just like
No, it was a dosage thing.
Like, what if you just did less of it? And because like that's where I figured out for me, like I don't know how these folks be doing like 15 milligrams, 20 milligrams. Like me, a smooth 5 milligrams of THC. That's all I need. My body's just like, hey, like it sort of gives you some of this like relaxation, like endorphin push. It's not the crazy like takes you down a rabbit hole, you're hallucinating type of high.
Yeah.
Like I don't enjoy that at all.
It doesn't. I've done smaller doses, and like I have the like when I was in college, I smoked weed. I know why people do it. I just myself, it doesn't relax me because I'm sitting there the whole time.
It gives you paranoia.
Thinking like, when am I gonna feel normal again? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a drug. Listen.
She's like, do your drugs.
Do your drugs. Do your marijuanas. Do your narcotics. It's just not for me.
Everybody be safe.
Yeah, everybody be safe. I'll drink. Give me a couple drinks, but even that, like 2 drinks, I just don't.
Yeah.
Like I like to feel my feet are on the ground. When I feel like my feet are not solid on the ground, I do not like it.
So you had a nice restful holiday break is what I'm hearing, and
very nice, very restful.
Little family stuff here and there, but not too much.
Not too much. Sorry, I keep coughing. There's a whole bunch of drama that I have to catch you up on. That's related to this story, but
she's like, all right. She's like, I'll hit you up on the offline.
Yes. But I keep telling Tyrone because Tyrone likes to travel. I like to travel. I don't like to plan travel.
Yeah.
So I was like,
she'd be like, who planned your stuff? I'd be like, me. I'd be like, I go right on to Google.com. And honestly, like, listen, I know we always be hating on AI. You tell AI, give me a 6-day itinerary in, southern Italy. And the way it will pop up all these ideas and activities that you didn't even think to look for, like that's to me something like AI is useful for.
Yeah, it's a tool.
But like forcing me to use it for my job,
I don't need it.
When I have to make all these corrections to the output from the AI, like what are we doing here?
Let me tell you a story about that related to the trip home. And this is my issue with AI and the people who are just all in
evangelizing.
So. She drives through the drive-through, going to get some food. She drives through the drive-through. I forgot where it was at. The AI takes the menu, takes the order. She tells the order, blah, 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 gets the order wrong. She says, no, and this. AI adds the thing. Okay, I'm going to transfer you to whoever, agent. The agent lady comes on, the person. Reads the order. Is this your order? Yes. Okay, pull around. Now, why she couldn't just take the order? Why did we need the AI? You know why? Because they are forcing AI into shit. I don't need the AI to read my email. Anyway, that's my little rant. But that's my perfect example. Like, can everybody turn their brain on? Why did we need that? Just have the lady take the order.
But you also know why that's happening is because they're trying to train it so that they can get rid of the lady. So that's what they're trying to do. So that part of what this forcing AI on people in whatever industry you're in is they want the AI to get to a point where it actually can replace the person. But the issue is that there are too many jobs and professions where you need judgment and you need discretion and you need someone to assess the whole situation and things that are sometimes intangible to be like, actually, this is the best thing to do based off of all of the information. Because sometimes it could be like, this is a political thing. Like, there's someone at the top who's going to hate if we do it this way.
Or we could do it that way, but it's going to take. This is what I say about AI, and I say because I'm old enough to have been around when computers first came on key, and everybody said the same thing. Computers are going to be doing everybody's job.
No.
And it's like anything that has to train on what we do, or is only basically a computer is 1 or 0. It's a yes or a no. This, no, then do this. Yes, then do that. That's all it really is. It's very at a higher level, but at the base, and I say because I'm old enough, I remember when we used to have the 1s and the 0s for the binary. That's all it is. It's either a yes or a no. Anything that is a yes or a no was never going to be able to be Skynet because it's not thinking. It's just going between choices that are given to it, which goes to what you say. It's the part that the brain that decides what is the yes or what is the no.
Yes.
That's where the juice is, not, okay, if I see this, I do that. It's like choose your own adventure.
Right.
And I keep trying to tell people that, but what it is you got all this puffery and all these salespeople trying to send the valuation up.
Literally, it's you have a bunch of tech bros and sometimes tech women.
Sell you bullshit.
But they have made such investment into, this technology that the only way they can get a return is if they make the rest of everybody believe that it's something that is honestly not.
And it's not.
Like they actually, if you sort of pay attention to like their filings, their listings, and like particularly the public companies, like they're sort of telling you we are very far away from what they're promising.
Very far away. and so we didn't mean to go on that tip, but actually why I brought that up is because back to not being stressed. The reason why we have gotten to this is because nobody wants to use their brain. They don't want to think. Just like everybody that ran up into the snowstorms, brought up all the milk, bought up all the bread, ran through the grocery store, this big blizzard. Y'all.
2-day storm.
Y'all.
2 days of snow. And you would have think that they're preparing for a hurricane, so we will be without power for a week.
But what I'm saying is, y'all know that they fired everybody down to the National Weather Machine. They got monkeys on the machines. The forecast is like, it's going to be between 1 and 340 inches. It's going to come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's not going to snow because it's too fucking cold. You don't need to be a weather person. It snows at a certain temperature. You ain't never seen it snow at 12 degrees, 17 degrees because it's too fucking cold. So unless the temperature is going to rise drastically in the next couple days, at least here in New York City, it's not going to snow because it's too cold. So stop running into the grocery store for this blizzard to come. It's not going to snow. But
even if there was this quote-unquote blizzard was being forecasted, it's for like essentially 24 hours worth of snow. And I got to say, like, if you don't have bread at home already, if you don't have, like, what do y'all be doing? Does everybody eat every single meal out? Because you would think that no one has ever purchased anything from the grocery store prior to.
They've been doing this since the 80s, though. I remember it was the same thing. They bought up all the milk. Why do you need all this milk?
Yeah, like, what do you got, a family of 10?
What are you doing with the milk? That's what I can see bread, ground beef, okay, soup, beans. The most you're going to be like, what's the most you're going to be in the house? 3 days. I remember, when were you born?
88.
Okay, so you missed the blizzard at 86, but you was here for the blizzard in 96. Remember the blizzard in 96?
Absolutely that.
Okay. And
I was in Indianapolis at that time.
And we was inside for about 3-4 days. That was a serious blizzard. We was inside.
I remember the snow being like.
Snow was up, literally
it was
up
several
here.
feet up.
Yes.
Like you opened our front door and it was just like, we got to shovel out.
Yes, it was that the blizzard in 96 was not a game. The blizzard at 86 was even less of a game. But even that was 3 days. So it's like, relax.
Okay, so you said you're not stressing over AI or even what's going on in the world. So if that's the case, what are you looking forward to now that we're in this new year in 2026? Sort of like what is something like you, and it could be something very small. It doesn't have to be something like huge, but like what are you just like, this is what I'm looking forward for 2026 as something that, give me something to look forward to.
Well, this podcast, I think the reaction to our first episode was really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we could do with this. But also on a personal note, so I'm a veteran, and I have, you can get like VA disability, right? And it's like gives it to you in a percentage. So, and the most you can get is 100%. And once you get 100%, there's a whole lot of
A
stuff.
bunch of shit kicks in.
A bunch of shit kicks in. It's a lot of money per month. Plus, it goes off like your location. If you have a spouse, so I get almost another salary per month. But the most important thing is now at 100%, if you have any loans,
Jealous.
they get forgiven.
Jealous.
So, but you probably know. Here's the thing about law school loans, because everybody's like, listen, I have paid already. I graduated law school in 2010. I have been paying back my loans since I went, because when the economy collapsed,
Yes,
we were all in the forbearance or whatever, because nobody had a job. But I've been paying back since 2012. I want to say 2012. I've been paying from 2012 to 20. When did Joe do the pause? 2024.
It was 2020. Yeah, when he came in, like right when he came in, I guess it would be top of 2021 then.
But no, but he came in, but the actual pause for the save or whatever they did.
Oh yes, that probably
like,
would.
It was later. It wasn't 2020, but anyway, up until that point, I had been paying, and so I have paid. I think for all of law school for 3 years, I know to go to Fordham. I believe it was 150 grand total, if I'm not mistaken. So I had been paid that back. I don't even know when. It's the interest.
Yep.
It's the interest that keeps rolling. So when you go in forbearance or you go in what's the other one? It's like a forbearance. It's different things you can do to stop, but the interest keeps rolling. So if you got 150 grand, that ain't no little $100 interest every month. That's a good chunk of interest every month. So that's what the issue is, because you'll have people who borrow. Even let's say you go to undergrad, say you borrow, I don't know what's an undergrad, 40, 50 grand, I guess.
Yeah.
You borrow that, the interest is rolling. Me personally, I think you could pay. I paid off my undergrad with no problem. I think you could pay that. But the point is the interest accumulates. So the reason why people are 15, 20 years out of school and still owning student loans is because of that interest. They already paid what they borrowed. Now they're just trying to pay the other $100,000 in interest that have accumulated in that time. And you can't get rid of it in bankruptcy. So the 100% qualifies me for that. So what I'm looking forward to is not having bills and just being able, my only major bill being my credit card.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have anything in my gym membership, my credit card. I don't really have anything else. I help my wife has a house. I pay the mortgage on there sometimes, but just being able to help her out, and like she has a really nice big house. She has a full basement that's not renovated.
Yeah.
Want to try to renovate that. Just having money to do things.
Yeah, but you also, people be like, oh my gosh, like, that's not fair, or like whatever it may be for, veterans. I'm just like, they paid the cost for that. Because let me tell you, like my father, he was a veteran. My mother's a veteran. My brother's a veteran. And they all have some form of disability. And let me tell you, it's not like nothing was faked. It was like it was actually earned.
Yeah,
I mean,
they get what they need out of you. So you got to get what they need out of them.
Absolutely.
If you go through, anybody listen to this, if you go to the military or you think about going through the military on that George Washington bullshit, you let them use you up for 5, 6, however long, and you don't get nothing, you're a fool.
No,
because you gave them people your life. They can fucking look at what they doing now with the fucking people. Look what they doing now, throwing them at any fucking thing like it's a video game.
No, absolutely not. So yes, use that GI Bill. You get injured, have some type of health problem that happens while you're in.
And you
go and claim that, bruh. You go get your disability, head down to get your VA insurance, all of it. Like, do not skimp out on that. Like, the mortgage stuff, like, you get your VA mortgage,
which basically
your 0% loan.
0% loan. Although I don't know anybody who's ever bought a house with VA mortgage that doesn't put some money down.
Yeah,
but you can.
Yeah, because my mom, she just used it for a home in Harrisburg 2 years ago. So, like, absolutely, we love to see it, getting your 100% disability. Let's see, what am I looking forward for 2026? I don't know. I think, like you said, to see where we go with the show, I think that there's a lot of cool things that we can talk about, and, maybe some point down the line have guests that we bring into it. So definitely this. I don't know. I think just being more creative in general and connecting with creatives across the industry, not just like other attorneys. I feel like I sort of have built up a really good community of people that I know now, to where like I can be helpful and also sort of dabble in more creative things outside of just being an attorney every day.
Right.
Also, just quick backtrack for the holidays. I'm sure you're aware, but there's a show for everybody who's not aware called Heated Rivalry.
Y'all watching that show for smut.
Listen, it starts off as smut, but by the end of it, like, it really becomes a very emotional, like, love story. And, like, listen, it is really, like, it's gay boy shit. Like, I really appreciate it. And you can tell that gay people worked on the show to make it because, like, there's just been so many shows in the past that are sure, like, they have gay people working with it, but it's not, like, there's a, sort of like a bigger person, like a studio head who you can tell, like, they're like, okay, we need more of, like, the stereotypical, like, gay stuff. And I'm just like, but, like, this, they were like, no, go real gay on this. Like, whatever y'all be doing, like, go do that. Put that on camera. And, I mean, the show's only 6 episodes, but, like, let me tell you, first episode, they start off with the bang. And then by the end, like, episode 5, I'm not going to tell y'all anything about the show because you can go watch it yourselves, but episode 5, literally at the end, I was sitting there watching it, and I screamed. And I was like, ah! I was like, no, you didn't.
It's definitely some gay. So it's like, it's about, apparently it's like a book series.
Yes, which will be like a straight woman word, I believe. So we'll give her some grace. But gay people adapted it for television.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yes, I think there's multiple books in the series. Oh, okay. And things are a little bit conflated, too, because the whole story with not the main couple, Shane and Ilya, but with Scott and Kip, I think that's its own separate book.
Okay, I was wondering, because it's given, if you remember Queer as Folk, it's very much, I feel like it gives that a lot. But, I mean, it's about sports. I like anything about sports, even hockey, which I don't watch. So it's about these professional hockey players. I'm not going to give it away, but it's about, so it follows them like they're closeted, I guess. Are they closeted?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say everybody on that show is closeted.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know if, like...
No one is out on that show.
Yeah. Okay, so it follows them through, like, they're, like, real professionals, so winning the Stanley Cups and the Olympics and all of that. So I get enjoyment out of that, but just my opinion. I hear y'all, but I just feel like it's not a lot of... It's a little bit of character development, but I just feel like it's a lot of... I know why y'all watching it, but that's okay. It's fine.
Listen, I'm not saying every character is delivering, like, Sigourney Weaver-ass, Angela Bassett-ass performances. But there are, like, the main one, like, Ilya, like, he does a really... Especially, like, people think that he's the Russian one. Okay. He's not from Russia. That man's from, like, Indiana.
I found that out. And I was like, oh, you okay?
He put in some work on that accent and his pronunciation of all the Russian. So,
yeah, does he sound Russian to me?
Yeah, so I just feel like in terms of quality, that show really... It just sits above the rest of a lot of gay stuff that has come out in the past few years because it wasn't trying to be something. It wasn't trying to be some like high art. It wasn't that. It was sort of just like
drag. No shade. I'm fucking tired of drag. That is not all that gay people do. I don't want to see it no more.
I know.
I'm tired of it.
Like, we got a new season of Drag Race, and I'm just like, what else can we do here?
There is more to it than that. Like, we don't need no shade. Like, I'm not being homophobic. I've personally never really been into drag. I get it, but it's still a little too campy for me. Like, I don't like Broadway musicals, and I don't like campy. That's just not my thing. So I've never really liked it. I tried to watch Drag Race. First couple seasons it was cute. Now we doing too much.
Oh my gosh,
but
it is.
Like, it's more to being gay man than doing drag. Yeah. And I feel like every Pride or every show, that's what it's all like. To Wong Fu, which was an amazing movie, by the way.
Oh,
but it's just always focused around that. Like, do regular stuff, like the hockey players, the football. Do regular stuff.
Yeah, there's other things to do outside of drag, but I just really, really appreciated that show. I think it was just like there was no pandering to like straight audience. No. It really was just
I'm
like
telling you now, if you straight and you not used to, take a beat, because even I was like, whoa.
Meanwhile, I was just like, yes, more, make it more gay.
I was like, wow, they really jumped out, but it was HBO. You know, HBO's good for that.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, HBO. Yeah. Well, just to close the loop on that, it actually started in Canada on Crave.
Oh.
And then HBO licensed it from Crave.
Good job, HBO.
Yeah, so Canada is actually the one. Like, Hollywood wouldn't even they didn't invest in this.
That makes sense. Because
And I know, right? Because I was like, they're not doing stuff like
this. How did
this.
this make it to the screen? I was like, who stuck this in the back door?
And whoever negotiated that license for HBO to get it, because they got it even before the whole season was out. But they could tell that this was like something that was going to be hot. And boy, let me tell you, like, by episode 3, I was just like, I'm in. Yeah. Give me a season 2.
And it's a gay show, but I'm telling you, I know more straight people who watch.
Oh my God! Listen,
anybody would shock the fuck out of me.
I
know straight men are watching. I'm like, you for real? You watching that? They like
people be talking about. Oh, have you seen like all the episodes yet? Because I need to talk about it with somebody. Who?
Right?
So you are married to a woman?
James, what?
Yeah. Like. Ma'am, like you got 3 kids. What are we talking about? Hey, what you know about
But I think it's because what you said, because it's so authentic.
Yeah.
And it's so real, and they're not trying to gay it up. You know,
no, it doesn't.
It's not. There's no episode where they go to the drag club.
No.
It's just them playing hockey, and then it shows a lot about being an athlete.
Yeah.
And you know how they prepare. And like I said, I don't even watch hockey, but I like that part of it.
Yeah.
I like any sport, not any sport, but I like
a lot of that sports. Yeah. But. I think it was well done. Like I said, I can't wait. I don't know when they're going to come back. Maybe it'll come back in 2026. So I would be looking forward for that if it actually came back. But anyway, just wanted to make a shout out to Heated Rivalries because I'm still going to be talking about it the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I want to shout out my cinnamon apple Tessa Thompson who brought His and Hers to Netflix, and you all watched it, and it was amazing. And I've been on her since way back before everybody was. Now everybody acting like that's their girl, but that's been my girl. Been my girl.
I mean, technically it was Janelle Monáe's girl.
No,
but...
even before Janelle Monáe, that was my girl.
Okay.
I got introduced to Janelle Monáe through her. I first saw Tessa Thompson on that show Cold Case back in like 2004. She played a lesbian on that. I've been on her since then.
You be clocking the ones that be playing the lesbians.
I be knowing. And I was like, who? Actually, I didn't clock her for that at all.
Really?
No. But I just thought she was really good. I was like, who is that? Because she played against this white girl. And I was like, who is that? And then I saw her again and apparently she was on Veronica Mars, but I didn't watch that.
Oh, I didn't watch that either.
Next time I saw her was on Dear White People, the movie.
Yes.
She was good on that. And then she popped up again in Thor.
Yes, she was in Thor.
Yeah, but there was something else she did in between. I can't remember. Oh no, it was this movie her first movie with Nia DaCosta called Little Woods. Saw her in that.
Okay.
So I've been on. So that whole Janelle thing that took me by surprise. I didn't even believe that. I thought that was a rumor till I saw the video.
Oh yeah, because she was in the Pink video.
Yeah, then I was like, oh.
I was like, this video is filled with vaginas.
Like, oh. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. Okay, so something that has happened and that I really want to get into now that we've sort of caught up over the holidays. In 2026, what we're looking forward to is we have seen a couple of cases recently of black gays in the church acting up. And it's something that I knew we were going to talk about in the show eventually, but because of what's been happening recently, like I can't ignore it, and your y'all just going to have to bear with me now because I'm going to give you the context of why I feel so strongly about what I'm about to talk about. So before I even get into, the two people that I really think are the issue here, I grew up in church. I grew up with parents who were both ministers. My mom is currently a pastor. My dad, he's probably a minister of music at whatever church he's attending out in the Midwest. And so, I've been in church since the day I was born. I mean, I've gone to every single...
What denomination?
So we sort of denomination hopped a little bit.
Oh.
We started off as Kojic or Church of God in Christ. Lord. So pretty much the most stringent in the Pentecostal denominations. The most hardcore. I'm talking women can't wear pants. They got to be in skirts. No, makeup, all of that. So that's where we started. And mind you, my parents, they met in the Army. And so it was sort of like Kojic, but in the context of the military, because there's always churches that have attached to base. Yes, very churchy. And so we started there. Then we sort of backed away from Kojic and still stayed within the Pentecostal-esque type of churches, but it was more non-denominational. But still was black churches that had, the Holy Ghost.
So a lot of carrying on.
Yes, a lot of carrying on. So praise and worship, choir, all of that, the whole 9 yards. Like
My
those.
grandmother was AME, and it was exactly opposite. It was
Yeah, a little bit more like Baptist.
Yeah.
Just your hymns.
Yeah.
And so like I've been in church since I was born. I mean, was youth director for our praise and worship group, was leading choir. Like I was in the adult choir when I was 9. Like don't play with me.
Okay,
Like
Whitney Houston.
I know church. And like I said, parents are ministers, pastors, whatever. So I know what I'm talking about here. Have attended 11,000 churches as well. One of the things that I sort of learned pretty early on, which is what caused me to come out later in life, was that, if you're a part of the church, you cannot be an out gay person. Like, you will get shunned. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't know that you are gay.
But you just can't say
it. It just means that you can't say it, but they want to exploit you for your talents and your gifts.
We all got to play this game.
When you look at a lot of the most prolific, amazing music departments at black churches, you're going to find you some very, very talented homosexuals up in there. And they are running the shit. They are the choir directors. They are sometimes the keyboard players, the organ players. They are the soloists.
A lot of choirs.
The dancer. Like, whatever it is, like, we are up in there and we are making that shit pop. We are giving it the flavor that where, when people parody or they, try to replicate black churches on television and film and stuff like that, like, they're doing the most sort of like the parts that are so showy and ostentatious, and like that is the elements that black gays bring to gospel especially. So anyway, just wanted to lay the foundation so that we can continue the conversation from you knowing that I am very informed of what I'm about to talk about. So there is a minister, a musician, if you will. He's also a pastor, so that's why I call him a minister. But he is incredibly well known because he has had some hits over the last 15, 20 years, more so in the 90s than in the 2000s. But his name is Pastor Donnie McClurkin.
Okay, I was wondering who he was talking about.
Yes. Oh, I was going to get there. Pastor Donnie McClurkin, known for such hits as "Speak to My Heart" and "We Fall Down."
I know that one.
Like, people know Donnie McClurkin's music even if they are not churchgoers. What people also may not know, maybe they do know, is that he had how do I say this?
He looks gay to me.
No. He says he has struggled with homosexuality his whole life.
Right.
But God had delivered him from it.
Right.
And this was like, he was saying this back in like the early 2000s.
And didn't he have something recently where he said it again?
Well, yes, that's what we're getting to.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's been saying that since I've known of Donnie McClurkin. And part of it, I think, is that his like deliverance came because he says that he's only gay because he was sexually abused when he was young.
That's not true.
And I'm just like, whatever,
like
girl. Just whatever.
I don't like that.
So I don't try to talk too much on that man because I don't think he's ever been not gay. I think he's been gay this whole time. And I think he's just been denying himself,
like, sir, please be real.
In physical relationships with men.
Right.
All right, girl, do your thing. I think it becomes an issue is when you become predatory. And that's exactly what has happened with Donnie, is that there's now this man who said he was his assistant for like a decade, essentially. And the reason he came to Donnie's church was because he was like, I'm struggling with my sexuality too, and it seems that you've, figured this out and God has delivered you, so like I need you to help me out. Yeah. And so, classic scenario of a young man, and this guy's like 25, 30 years younger than Donnie.
Are they based out of Atlanta or were they based out of?
I think it's Long Island. Oh. I know. Listen. Oh. Huh? Connecticut. There we go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, it's up here somewhere, because it's sort of.
I did not know that.
Yes, and so he like got this guy to be his assistant and work with him for years, and then the guy after a while was just like, I can't do this anymore, and he didn't say why. He just sort of stopped being his assistant. Well, I think there were some things that happened recently that sort of maybe unlocked some core memories that his ex-assistant.
Yeah.
And basically he's like, I'm gonna sue Donnie because he was sexually assaulting me throughout that time period. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, bruh, pastor, up in here fucking,
and
like.
that's why it's dangerous, because you can't. Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, he was basically like, like using his power and authority over him basically as his employer.
Yeah, like sexually harassing him, basically, and sexually assaulting him at his fucking job.
Yes, and it went on for years, and he even quit, and like it was like, I don't want to like work anymore, but I think he ended up coming back for some reason because he like, it was his church community. That's the big thing with black churches is like, it's. I don't want to say it's a cult,
like,
but it's like, yes, you isolate it.
And then when you're shunned.
Exactly.
And then a lot of times they put you in a position, when you get to Tyler Perry, we'll talk about this. They put you in a position where they've given you this stature and this access and these things, and then they threaten to like take it away from you if you don't go along.
Exactly. And that's why I think he ended up sort of staying in that sort of circle, was because he didn't have community outside of that, because a lot of times when you are involved with church, it sort of takes over,
it's all intertwined.
And then they become your friends. It becomes the people who you hang out with all the time, and it's just really unfortunate. I don't know how much of this is true. This is all allegations, so let me do my little legal disclaimer. I don't know. All of this is alleged, but I know that Donnie McClurkin has spoken about being a delivered ex-gay homosexual. I don't believe that.
Donnie.
And it sort of plays into what I always believe, is that you have these particularly older black gay men in church who they sit with these urges and they try not to act out on them, and then all it takes is like them seeing some vulnerable person like who they can help mentor, and like, 'cause people forget Bishop Eddie Long,
and
he did. I think he died of HIV.
Of the alphabets. That's
yes. And all of that because he was out there doing his dirt. And I mean, how many young men came forward?
A lot of them.
It was a lot.
They were young. Like,
young. Teenagers.
Like, they were
like 15, 16.
He needed his ass beat for that.
But like, I guess rest in peace, Eddie Long. But we got one alive right now.
Flames, nigga. Sorry.
But we have another one who is church adjacent. He's not in the church, but Mr. Tyler Perry himself. That one I am so frustrated with, because I'm like, you're not even a minister. Like, all it is that your audience comes from church.
Let me ask a question, because I've never followed TP that closely. Was he married?
No, but he is had semi-public relationships with a woman or two.
Okay, so that's my question, because I don't recall, not saying he didn't, I don't recall him ever saying he's not gay. I just don't recall him saying he was straight. But maybe I missed it.
But I think for a lot of gay men, we clocked it very early on. Like, you didn't have to say it because we knew how, based off of how you were moving.
But what I'm saying is, like,
yes, he never made any declarations of one way or the other.
I don't think he ever was like, I'm not gay, but I don't think he ever was like I never seen Tyler Perry like, oh, I love the hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never seen that.
Which,
I know,
as you've mentioned before, actually too, a lot of closeted men, even if they're like, they can go hypersexual.
That's a giveaway. That's a bad giveaway.
And like, if you always talking about sex all the time, and it's just like, if you're the most sexual out of your male friends, and like, they're just like, hey man,
thing away. You
like we good. Like, we don't need to talk about that.
You don't need to talk about that over my salad. Like,
but with Tyler Perry specifically, he's been accused twice in the last 6 months. 3 times. Wow, 3 times.
Because he had that one earlier, remember? And it kind of went away.
Yes.
Everybody let him slide on that one.
Yes, and it's just very frustrating to me, because you think that this would sort of cause a reckoning in, his audience. And his audience is heavily, heavily built on black Christian church-going women.
Is the most ignorant, low, not IQ, what's it, low reader.
It just
low cognitive ability audience.
And I'm not to say there aren't times where I haven't laughed at Tyler Perry things, and like, it can be entertaining. Like, trash can be entertaining. We know that.
Exactly.
But I think my frustration really is that there always comes this like sanctimonious, like, Christian ass message and a lot of the stuff that he does. Not so much anymore, but definitely it was heavy at the beginning, which is what helped him build up his following.
Mm-hmm.
Was all these like gospel singers and gospel music in his plays before he started doing the movies. And just the fact that you have this whole community, like Christian community, sort of overlooking these allegations because he's so talented. Like, I'm so over, particularly, a certain type of black men in the church who are allowed to just get by with shit like this because they are talented. But also, like, I have issue with the church as a whole, that people even feel like they have to act like this just so they can be a part of the church. Like, I'd rather just not be a part of the church. Like, I consider myself a Christian, but I'm not a part of anybody's church because I've tried over years and years to try to find homes and communities of people, and every single time it's like, it's almost like a bait and switch where it's just like, we're so welcoming, we're so open, we love everybody, and you'll get to that one sermon where they start mentioning gay shit, and you're just like, see, you done blew it up. Because I was ready to commit. I was ready to be here volunteering. I was going to help you get your little funky music department together. Yeah. None of that. Because, like, I can whip a music team into shape.
I've never been with church. I'm like, I believe in some higher something, right? But I've never been for no church, no preacher. I just never been. I told the story, even when I was little. I told the story before because my grandmother... one Catholic, one AME. My daddy was a Muslim. And I just was like, I would just sit there. First, when I was like young, like maybe 3, 4, 5, I would spend the night with my grandmother. She would take me to church. And AME church is really, it's as close to Catholic church. Yeah. I fuck with Catholic church hard because they in, they out. We got football to watch.
Kelly literally is like, I got places to be.
But AME church is not that much off. Like, they do their little, very dry. It's not like the typical... At least the one my grandmother went to. We're from I'm from Philadelphia. She came from South Carolina. So they went to the original AME. Yeah. What's the guy that founded the church way back in the day? That church, Mother Bethel, whatever it's called. That denomination. So they run a strict program. So it's not all that. They have a choir, but it's no band. They get up, they sing their little Titanic hymn. No music. It's very dry, right? But I remember sitting there as like a 3, 4, maybe 5-year-old and listening to the preacher tell these stories, and he would get, Jonah and the whale. Yeah. And I was sitting there as a 4-year-old listening, and then I was like, and he's talking about, and when Jonah was in that whale, and I was like, you can't live in no belly of no whale. What are you talking about? And mind you, I had my Muslim daddy in my ear with this all bullshit and Muhammad and Allah and all this over here. So I already got this in my ear, cut the swine off in my ear.
Meanwhile, she digging on Luke's ribs.
and she talking about the belly of the whale. So and then as I got like older, I want to say like 11, 12, and I would watch all of them argue so passionately about what, the God says this, the God says that. And I remember sitting there thinking, all 3 of you are in different religions, and all 3 of you swearing to God that what you say is the proper religion and right. And I was like, you know what? Don't none of y'all know what y'all talking about. Because it can't be. If all of y'all, of y'all can't be right, so therefore all of y'all probably wrong. And I just remember thinking that. And and ever since then, church is not for me. And I'm not saying... faith is not for me. I'm not saying that, but like the churches, the preachers, the exact stuff you're talking about,
church culture.
I can't do the hypocrisy. And me personally, this is my personal opinion. I know a lot of gay people disagree with me because y'all like the church. And don't get me wrong, I understand that black church is very strong in African American culture. Yes. Because for hundreds of years, it's all we had, and it's what got us through slavery, which exists,
civil rights era
down,
was
right?
a bunch of preachers who came up.
But even in the civil rights era, I feel like it was different because back then the church was it was the social center of the community. Yes. Because people don't understand. We see these pictures now. Civil rights movement was fought by very young people. Yes. Martin Luther King was 26 years old for the Lemon Bus boycott. The stuff in Birmingham that you see with the fire hoses, those were school-age children. Yes. So it was very young. So it had a youthful vibe. It had a revolutionary vibe. It had a we gonna overcome whatever shit vibe. So it was more than just that. And I feel like it's lost that. Yeah. But I personally, as a now out queer person, or realize I'm I don't like queer, gay person.
Mhm.
To me, the foundation, if you, because you know I'm a big history buff.
Yes.
If you know the history and the foundation of what the church, because the first church was the Catholic Church. All other churches come off of Catholicism.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that, because I had to argue with a dude telling. He was like, a Protestant is. I said Protestant means Protestant. It's pronounced Protestant. What do you think they were Because he said the Catholic Church was, none of the other churches came off Catholic. And I was like, they all came off Catholic.
Yeah.
I said Protestant. What do you think he was protesting? The Catholic Church. The fuck is Protestant Catholic. Protestant Catholic. So anyway, back to the beginning of the first church, which is Catholicism. The homophobia is in it.
Yeah.
It's bred in it. This whole thing you just said, where you struggle with homosexuality. Why do you struggle? Because they have told you that you are a sinner, that this is not what God wants, and God made us this way and that way. And I've just always rejected that, because first of all, I would not worship. Have you seen the TikToks where the people who used to be in the church say they come on the TikTok and they say, yo, I used to be in a religion and this is where I got out, and then they'll have the person that's in the church talking to them, and the person be like, see, God,
no,
he loves you, but you a sin, and he put the sin in your chest, but he wants you to not be the sin. So what he did is he killed his son because he hates you, but he wants you to choose him and not to sin, but he put it in you though.
Yeah.
And then it's so ridiculous.
Once you put it like that, it really do be sounding crazy.
It's hilarious. So I never, this whole struggle, I just don't agree with that, because the Lord or God, creator, whatever, if you understand that, look, 2 different kinds of plants right here, 3 different kinds of plants. Everything is variety.
Right.
There are so many different kind of bacteria. Everything is variety. So for you to think that a God, if you believe in that,
right,
that create all this shit, but he only wants you to be this and he only wants you to be that, you sound stupid.
Right.
That's like standing in front of a tree that has 3 leaves and telling that tree you ain't no tree. Tree's supposed to have 4 leaves. That tree over there, that's how dumb you sound to me. So I've always rejected it, and I love that video that Yolanda Adams came out with recently, where she said, you should listen to it. She said a whole lot, but this part that I really connected with, she said that God is a God of variety, and as Christians, we believe that God is perfect and he doesn't make mistakes. He said, and he said, she was like, there's so many different kinds of flowers and so many different kinds of grass and all of it, and he puts it down here. And so if he put it down here, that's what he wanted, and that's how it's supposed to be. And who are you to come along and say this is not what God wants? If he didn't want it, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah. And
she was like, and I just can't look at the world. The world is variety, and it's difference, and we got all these different species of fish and fly, just all this stuff. And I'm like, yes,
that totally makes sense, especially when you start thinking about it from like a why would we have a God who just make like, okay, I'm gonna make some of you perfect. The rest of you all gonna strive to be perfect for the rest of your life.
And if you don't make it, I'm gonna throw you in hell. I wouldn't
like
worship
that sounds
a God
crazy.
Like that. Who would worship a God like that?
Like that sounds crazy, and I think a lot of it is just people wanting to feel superior. They want to feel like they are in charge. They want to have some type of agency, particularly in the Black church. You know, that's the area, that's the arena where
that's the only place where you could historically have any power.
Exactly, because you couldn't get it in the rest of the world, because the white people were like, hey, man.
Get back to that con.
They're like, I don't care what type of pastor, reverend you think you are.
Right, boy.
I'm still call you boy.
You ain't no reverend over here, boy. Exactly.
But yeah, I wanted to, touch on the stuff with, the Black gays in the church. And I mean, we're still there. Like, I don't think a lot of y'all should be in there, especially how y'all being treated. But like, for the ones who are there and closeted and acting a fool, those are the ones that I think, need to be called out. But because they are so powerful and so, important to the church, like people ain't saying shit about it. That's just, it's so unfortunate to have the Donnie McClurkins and the Tyler Perrys, again, church adjacent. He's not a minister, but they're sort of just skating by, and it's just like, bruh, like we sort of just need to pick up ourselves from this whole world of like Black church and remove ourselves from this.
No,
Like,
I
let's
honestly
see how
think.
lame it'll be once you take all the gays out.
No, I honestly think that's what's holding a lot of us back. But also, even beyond all that, these I feel like the church gives people a cloak almost, because basically the only reason you're being given that is because you're in a church.
Yeah.
But really, what you are the kind of person, which there are many, not just gays. That's what the whole sexual harassment is about. Who, because you have power and you have authority over people, you abuse that.
Yes.
And you use that to manipulate and get, and that behavior is universal and it fucking sucks.
Yes.
And it should be stopped and it should be called out. People should be able to come to work, man or woman. That woman does not come to work to have you make little sexual She want to do her shit and go home. And if you want to date, you can do it. Like, the jobs have rules, but it's like, be fucking normal.
Right.
Ask her out like a normal fucking person, and don't make her job contingent on it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that's like, for me, it's like, yeah, we do a whole lot of yammering around this, but really what it is a bunch of fucking loser perverts.
Yes.
Who are using that position to, it's a predator. It's predatory, like you said, to fucking manipulate people. And that's the part of it that I'm just like, you a slime ball, dude.
Yes.
Like, you trying to, I don't even fuck about all this religion and who you are. You at the core, you a slime ball.
And you're the what is causing there to be like a larger misassociation with, predatory behavior and being gay. Like, you're literally exhibiting the thing that is a negative stereotype, in which is not true in any sense of the word, except for you. It is true for you, bitch, because you're a terrible person.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's a type of person that is nothing to do with you being, not to belittle molestation, but the type of person who does that is a particular type of person. There are people that use their power. And look at the Harvey Weinstein thing.
Yeah.
You using your power and your influence, you know what you're doing, and you're using it to manipulate other people. And you hope that they'll be too scared or value their career too much. Or, all right, look, I'm going to just fuck this nigga one time, and then I'm going to have all the movies. And if you make that choice, I'm not going to judge you, because fuck this guy. Who is this fucking guy to stay in the way of your career? I get that too. Like, I worked very hard to be here, and I'll be goddamn if I'm gonna let you fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get that too. So, but it's that whole, but you know why that is? Because, like I just said, historically, the only way that you could be not burned at the stake for being a gay in medieval times, even before that, in Europe anyway, was to go into the priesthood or into nunnery, and that's how that stereotype evolved. Because over the centuries, it's full of gays.
Which, let me tell you, especially when you go back to the Catholic Church, they got a whole, like, it's like not too much on the black church.
No,
because like
they the OGs.
Right.
They started it all. They done been sued all over the country.
Yeah.
Just pushing their priests around and to do that. And
yeah. So I wanted to talk about that. We have other things we want to talk about as well, but I wanted to really just give my perspective from.
So what do you think should happen? You think you're not going to change the predator, but I just feel like the churches are not doing themselves any favor by protecting those people.
No.
I feel like if you say, hey, gay, not gay, we calling the cops on you, buddy.
Absolutely.
That's what I think need to happen, and that'll go a long way to people not looking at y'all sideways.
But the thing is, then now they have to admit, there's going to be certain things they have to admit about, knowing that they have queer, gay, lesbian people in the church, in which that's the way they get around all of this, is that they sort of just pretend it's not happening, and they go, as long as we don't know about it, we're cool. And that's just such a frustrating part to me, is because it's like, if you talk to people one-on-one, people be knowing who is gay and who's not up in church, and it's just like, okay, as long as it stays in the back on a whisper, we ain't gonna say nothing about it.
Your whole institution is bogus then.
And that's where we're landing at. But I do want to move on, because we have some other stuff we want to talk about. We were talking about power for a second, and sort of people getting in positions of power and abusing it or misusing it. And we don't have to stay on this too long, but it's come up, and they have been dragged to hell and back. But I did want to add my 2 cents for the people who were going, we should not be donating to Jasmine Crockett because she won't win down in Texas for the U.S. Senate. So I'm going to call out who it is. Las Culturistas, Matt Rogers, and Bowen Yang. I have been a fan of them for years. I think that they both are very talented, very smart. They both went to NYU. I don't love everything that they do, but I think that they are some of the smarter gays working in entertainment. And not for nothing, they have built their own platform, which can't be said about a lot of folks. So I'm going to give credit where it's due right there. But where I've seen them misstep several times is when they start to get into politics, and when especially they start to talk about things that they don't know about, i.e. black people. And black women specifically. It's come up several times on the show where I've listened to their show Lost Culture Reaches, and they said some like sort of shady things or something about black women specifically, and I'm just like, no, because if you pay attention to their guests, they don't really have a ton of black women. If they do have black women, it's gonna be people like Cynthia Erivo. I know we won't even go there, but my point is that they've gotten to, like, they've treaded into this water before, and they've done not a great job. But specifically at this moment, to say Matt Rogers, that shit that you said about not donating to Jasmine Crockett, again, you've been beat over the head time and time again at this point, so you already know where you went wrong. I still think the message hasn't been received based off of how you responded to it. But the point is that you are sitting here trying to tell people to do something that is based off of your very personal opinion. It's not based off of any larger sentiment. There's no larger strategy. You're basically just saying you don't really like Jasmine Crockett, and that's why you don't think people should vote for or donate to her, not even vote for her. Like, and mind you, there's an open primary for the Democrats down in Texas. So, like, that is how primaries work, is that the people who vote for this, open position in the Senate, they get to determine who they want to vote for. Right. And part of that process is the primary. Right. Who the fuck is anybody to say someone shouldn't be running in a primary? Let that lady run and use up her money and go get people to donate. And if they vote for the white guy, priest or pastor, whoever it is, then they vote for him. But to say she's not going to win the general, why isn't she going to win, Matt?
This is what kills.
Why isn't she going to win? Be more plain about it.
About those leftists or whatever the fuck, liberal, white, whatever, right. Those people is just like you said. I don't know if Jasmine Crockett's going to win or not. I know people who live in her district who are like, they have opinions of her. Not. Yes. Put it like this: the people who live in her district, the criticism, you can criticize her without being racist. Yes. They're like, there are serious concerns that people who live, because she's out of Dallas. Yes. And they're like, people down in Dallas are like, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem. Not this racist shit y'all would keep wanting to bring up. Well, my thing is, it's a primary, because y'all did the same thing with Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking primary. Now, because what y'all don't really want a primary. What you want is your candidate. Yes. That's what you want. That's why y'all keep screaming about Bernie fucking Sanders, who been in the Senate for decades, ain't passed one fucking law, done ran against Hillary, done ran against everybody, and does not win.
Loses every time.
He doesn't win. People don't want him, but you don't want a primary, because a primary is like you said. If Jasmine does win or doesn't win, hey, correct. That's how it goes. But that's not what you want. You want your person to go. Yes, and that's the problem, and that's why y'all sat back and let Trump get in there again, because you didn't want Kamala Harris because all this dumb shit you kept talking about, and Gaza, and she don't have a plan, and this, that, and the other. So you voted for that fucking turd who is, or just not even vote, or didn't even vote. Yes, that's the other thing, because you don't like the candidate, and I can't. Obama really fucked up politics, I feel, because you don't know how many years before Obama, nobody gave a shit. Right. The only other person that really excited people as a politician was Bill Clinton. Before that, you just fucking, it's gonna be it's gonna be what it is, Bob like Dole or old white man, old white man, and you just voted like according. Okay, well, this guy's not gonna cut Social Security. Obama got this colder personality where y'all think everybody has to be charismatic and everybody has to be a superstar and everybody has, and that's all y'all worry about. And it's to the point where y'all voted a reality TV star. Or allowed a reality star to be voted. Who is a complete fucking idiot, who has bankrupted every business he has ever had, including 2 casinos, who is fucking running through the U.S. Treasury like a fucking Jesse James and them, like some bank robbers.
Just patting their pockets.
Just stealing every
just gold falling out their pockets, walking out
just stealing everything that ain't nailed down, putting that tacky gold shit up in the White House to knock down half the fucking White House. That's who you voted for, because you so caught up in who you want to be in there. And And we need to get
Just
out of that.
let the people decide. Y'all don't even live in Texas.
Thank
How
you.
do we get here
Don't live in
to where you have
Texas.
such strong opinions
That's-
about someone you can't even vote for?
That's the New York City mayor's race getting on my fucking nerves. If
Oh
y'all
my
shut
God.
the fuck up,
Oh my God.
let them vote and we'll see who wins.
You
Shut
got
the fuck
people
up.
from South Carolina talking about, well, Mom Donnie didn't. Please,
Ma'am.
I don't care. You live in South
you
Carolina.
live in South Carolina.
I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Even if
gives
we
a shit?
agree, I need you to shut
Shut
your
the
mouth.
fuck up.
Please.
Nobody cares.
Like, and also, y'all be trying to think that the national issues are the same as the issues of the city. Like, New York City and the metropolitan area
got
has
our own
specific sets of issues that need to be
issues.
addressed. And y'all be sitting up here talking about shit that ain't got
all
nothing.
this
What
stuff
is
on Fox News.
What is his opinion on Israel? Who gives a
gives a
fuck? He is
Who
not going to do
cares?
nothing about Israel.
Nothing.
He has zero power. Nothing.
I need these homeless people off the subway. It's
Oh
getting
my
out
God.
of control.
My God, I was down at Penn 2 nights ago waiting for a train, and oh my God, it's smelling like all types of whatever
It's
they're
terrible.
smoking up in there, and I'm just like, dog, like, I'm not saying anyone has to be like forced to be institutionalized,
No,
but
but
you
they
cannot
gotta get off
have
the
public
train.
spaces where people are doing
No,
hard drugs.
hard
Period.
drugs,
The end.
Laid out, smelling like a toilet,
Like,
sleeping all on
that,
the subways.
that is not
Come
okay.
on.
Like, you're constantly raising the taxes. You're constantly raising the prices of MTA to get on the
It's
subway and whatever
$3
else.
now.
And I'm just like, bruh, like, I'm one of the most empathetic people you will come across when it comes to people who are unhoused, people who are on drugs, people who are addicted, people who have been kicked out, sleeping in homeless shelters. I care, but I also know that everybody's issues don't have to be imposed on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there should be plans and there should be compassion for these people and ways to figure out how to help them. It does not mean that they get to just impose their will on everybody else. Like, you can't be on the train fucking doing crack. I don't care. Like, you can't just pull out a crack pipe.
And we're not
then
exaggerating.
We
They
got
literally
crack
pull a
pipes
smoke
on the train. Literally, like, this is insane. Like, it's obviously not as bad as it was back
And
in like
needles,
the 80s.
You find needles sometimes on the
But
train.
still, it's like we've come too far to start to be taking steps back like we are. But anyway, a little bit of a tangent there. I know we have a couple of things we want to talk about before we end, but I just wanted to say, y'all know what y'all did, Matt Rogers. And Bowen, you sat there and you sort of co-signed that shit. That's why you're getting it as well. But Matt Rogers really was you as this white gay man speaking on shit you should not have been speaking on. So the other thing I know you wanted to talk about was sort of like the mainstream media folks and MLPS.
Shout out to the people. I just want to say this. As somebody who is very thug-like, I've said that before. Like, I again, I was in the Marine Corps. I've been to combat, so I know real shooters when I see them, and I know not when I see it. And I've always said I will stay seated until I think that it's really serious and people have really figured out what needs to happen. And the people in Minnesota, like, I just want to shout y'all out because y'all are fucking not fucking around.
They are not playing. And
Y'all
mind
are
you,
not
they are like,
fucking around.
they have the reputation of being some of the nicest people
And this is what I'm
around.
saying, some of
And
the
so when you've
nicest
got
people.
them out in the streets
And minus
knocking
degrees,
heads.
and they are got nothing but snowballs and whistles, and they're being more courageous and have more conviction and more moral conviction than all these elected officials and all these media people. And I just want to say that when all of this, the other thing I want to say, they're talking about rolling in Philly. That's going to be a mistake. I am born and raised in Philadelphia, PA, and let me tell you something. That's going to be a mistake. Because if you think the people in Minnesota is rah-rah, y'all see how we act when the Eagles win or when they lose.
Cars burning in the streets.
And let me tell you something else about Philadelphia.
Over sports.
And let me tell you something else about Philadelphia. Philadelphia got some of the most brutal, rugged, thug-like, don't give a fuck about nothing and nobody white people you have ever seen in your entire life.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now. No shade to Minnesota because they doing a lot. But coming and the other thing is Pennsylvania is an open carry state.
Oh
and
my
Philadelphia is an open carry state with a license. Only thing is you can't carry it fully loaded, but you can carry the clip. So that's what I want to say.
Relax. Like, when I tell you, I was trying to get do a gun transfer from my uncle who passed away a few years ago. And it's like, oh, can I transfer one of his guns to me in New Jersey? And Pennsylvania, they were just like, you can drive over
You
the
can
state
buy
lines. We don't care.
You can buy a flamethrower.
Meanwhile, New Jersey was like, if you cross the state line with that pistol in your vehicle, that is a felony. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania's like, how many guns you want to take?
You can buy a flamethrower.
They're like,
whatever.
Go for it. We don't care.
So shout out to the people in Minnesota, because y'all are fucking standing 10 toes down. Y'all not talking shit. Y'all out there. You're risking your lives.
Doing it.
They shot somebody today.
The clergy's out there.
The clergy's out there. I feel like, and you know, that's what it's going to take. I don't think a lot of people have woken up to the fact, but that's what it's going to take. Like, these people are out there. They think I have a lot to say about it. They think they're playing Call of Duty.
Oh my God! All these ICE agents, all the DHS, it's crazy.
It's
They're literally sitting out there, like they don't even know how to use their weapons.
They don't.
That's crazy. You got them like fumbling guns, like the guy who shot himself in the foot because like his gun was like loaded and the safety wasn't on. Like, are you kidding me?
Listen.
Like he was just walking and he shot himself.
Because I'm telling you, if you come to Philadelphia with that shit talking about you gonna bust in somebody's house without a warrant,
oh my God,
they're gonna send you packing.
The upper room.
Yeah. So shout out to the people in there, but like that's the kind of, when people keep saying, what do we want the Democrats to do? What do we want them to do? We don't want you to sit on CNN and Fox and wherever else. Well, we don't have the votes. These people are not elected to anything.
No.
And they are out in the street putting their lives on the line. And I think when all of this is over, however it goes, we need to really start reevaluating who we are electing and who we are putting in, because all of these institutions, they just fell.
Yeah.
They just crumbled. They just bootleg. They didn't even push back. Some of them voluntarily.
Down the law firms, down to the universities,
the CEOs, and you got regular people just out. So I think when we need to, who are we electing to office? Because these people who are supposed to be guarding our elite institutions, they don't seem to have any courage. They don't seem to have any morals. They don't seem to have any conviction. They don't seem to even know. Like they just roll over.
You actually hit the nail on the head when you said the elite institutions is that they themselves are trying to be elite, and so everything that's going on right now with the people in the streets, that's below them. Like, what they can do is they can get in the room with the real decision makers, because, you know, they have the Yale degree, they have the Harvard degree,
whatever.
They served, you know, they clerked for X, Y, and Z judge, and, you know, they were intern for such and such senator, and, you know, I do summers and, you know, whatever with these important people, and so now it's getting to the point where it's like, that's actually not doing anything at this point. Nothing. Because what's really moving the needle is money and heads being rolled in the street.
And they're just doing what they want. This is ultimately, this is what it frustrates me so much. Trump is a bully.
Yeah.
I know that we are putting all these, there are a lot of actors behind Trump and what they're doing. We get that. But essentially, all Trump cares about is Trump. And he just wants all the money, and he's a bully. And he rolls up and he says, oh, well, if you don't get rid of your DI, I'm going to take your money. And they just do it. But when they push his bag and they go to court, he loses every fucking time.
Right.
It's like y'all are just getting punked. Y'all are getting punked. That's all that's happening. This goofy ass lady gonna roll up and I'll give you half my Nobel Prize. All of y'all are clowns.
Oh my God, that Nobel Prize
shit. All of y'all are clowns.
That was so silly. I was like, you are a very, very unserious person.
You are a very unserious person. The Nobel Committee, to me, now is a very unserious organization, because why'd you even give it to her in the first place?
No.
If this how she acts.
No, that's what I'm just like, they've lost credibility.
Nobody want that shit now.
Anybody who is like, especially international affairs, who are sort of going along with his bullshit, like, they're all losing credibility. This is why Europe's finally waking up, and they're like, oh shit, like, he's about to steamroll us.
Because you cannot give way to a bully. All this fucking no tolerance that they have been teaching for the last 20, 30 years has been a mistake. When you get bullied, you got to smack that motherfucker in their mouth.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter if they beat you up after. The point is, you slap them in their mouth, and they're going to go fuck with somebody else, because don't nobody want to get slapped in the mouth every day. I promise you. And they're going to get embarrassed. And my daddy used to tell me, you go to the biggest, the loudest one, the one that's making all the noise. I don't care if it's 20, 30 people with them.
Right.
You go to the one that's making all the noise, and you whoop their fucking ass. You beat. I don't care if you don't get another one. You beat that one to the ground.
Honestly, that is exactly what my dad used to say. Like, he would be like, listen, I'm not telling you to get into fights. Matter of fact, you are going to get in trouble if you get into fights. But you're going to get into more trouble if you get into a fight and you get your ass beat. He was like, if someone starts to fight with you, you need to finish it.
You do not back down. Don't start
Literally,
no
he's
fight.
like, finish it. He
Don't
was
start
like,
no fights and don't fuck with nobody. But if somebody, he was like, don't let them. He said, because my dad is a street dude.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
You can't even let them slide a little bit because they'll do little stuff to test you. Say
Yep.
little smart stuff just to see if they can pick on you. He was
Yep.
like, I don't care what they say. They say something, you say something right back. Say
Yeah.
something right back just so they know I'm not the one. Go try that shit somewhere else. I'm not the one.
Yes.
And all of this, Leroy, we used to fight after school. 3 o'clock, you fight, the beef is over with, and everybody friends back again
Yes.
because we done fought. We got it out. All this go tell that that's why they're shooting up the schools, and it's produced a generation of kids who just it's just like little punks. And like that's the whole thing. This dude he's a bully, and the only thing a bully understands is a punch in the mouth. That's all he understands.
Yeah.
And Europe is starting to figure it out. I feel like we still ain't figured it out.
No.
Because these people are still scared to death of this man, and I don't know why. Because every time you buck up to him, he backs down.
Yes.
That lady in Maine, that Maine governor said, I'll see you. And he was like, oh, you're going to do it. She's like, I'll see you.
She said
in
it
court.
to his face.
To his face.
In the Oval Office.
And he kept trying
she
to
said,
bully him.
all right, we'll see you in court.
Jerome Powell. When
Listen.
he tried to bully Jerome Powell, he was like, oh, and Jerome Powell snatched that paper out of
He
his
said,
hand
we
and
not
was
doing that.
He was like, you're taking that out of such and such.
He
This
said,
is the
I didn't
budget."
say that.
He was like, I
Literally.
did not say that. Like, come
If
on.
you look that man in his eyes and call him a liar and tell him to shut the fuck
He
up,
backs right down.
he don't
like
know what
all
to do.
punks, 'cause
He's so used to people just being like,
bootlicking.
ooh, like,
Bootlicking.
sir, or what? Or what?
What
Because
are
you can't
gonna-
fight.
You're right. What
You
are you
can't
gonna
fight.
do?
What you gonna do? You gonna roll up on me?
They are scared to death of this
What?
man.
You probably try to send a Secret Service, but guess what? They don't want to go to jail because they asked them to go to jail for being sick on somebody like that.
Yep.
You'd be like, oh, this innocent bystander who was standing here who just told Trump to go fuck himself. They wouldn't beat his
They want
ass.
to drag, and then that's another thing. Try that shit in Philly. Drag that dude down the wrong alley, and I'm telling y'all motherfuckers gonna be the one getting beat up. I'm telling you. They will converge on you. So South Philly is full of mob connected people. It ain't too many neighborhoods in Philly. I'm gonna tell you, it ain't gonna be too many neighborhoods in Philly that you gonna be able to do that with. I'm telling you right now.
Honestly, have them come to New York, see what happens too.
Well,
like,
yeah. Only reason I say New York is different is because it is certain area. Like if you go to the Upper West Side,
yeah. But also, they're not going there trying to get immigrants. You know.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's
how you
they're
know it's not
coming
about
out to
immigration.
Queens. They're coming out to Brooklyn.
Because if it was about immigration, y'all would be in Queens where them Irish people are, and y'all would be out in Brighton Beach where them Russians and Ukrainians and Albanians are. Ain't none of them here legally. I promise you. That's not where they going.
Yes,
That's
no.
not where they're going.
Like the whole Ellis Island, all of that. Like these people, they didn't come. Like they just showed up.
And it's
Yeah. So anyway, I know one more last thing before we wrap up. We mentioned it early on. We started talking about sort of like the civil rights and stuff.
Yeah.
And just people not understanding their history, but specifically like Black folks not understanding their history.
Yes. So what's very dangerous is like I believe Gen X, I believe maybe millennials, maybe older millennials. We are the last generation who had people who were alive during Jim Crow.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1943. He was left South Carolina in 1950 because he was going to be lynched. My grandmother left, as part of the Great Migration after World War II in 1945. They lived in the South when you had to step off the sidewalk, when people were lynched, where people, trying to vote and they was killing people. All that Mississippi, all that stuff that y'all think is so old days, they told us these things. So we knew that. I knew that my grandmother came from South. And anytime you would ask her about South, she would not tell you any stories. Or my dad
they didn't
would
want to talk about
all
it.
All she would say was, man, them white folks were mean. They were just mean.
No.
We don't understand. They were just so mean.
It was traumatic.
All she would say.
It was traumatic to them.
Would tell a little bit more. But, like, we remember those stories. They were told to us. I feel like these other generations, that stuff has not been passed down. You guys really think that that's just something in a movie or that's a long time ago?
No.
1965 is not that long ago, babe. It's not that long ago.
No.
Just because those pictures are in black and white does not mean it was that long ago. 1968 is not that long ago. And this stuff is coming back around. And like, stop raising your children. And I understand, like, that people felt like, oh, those were the bad old days. We finally overcame. Yeah. We don't want to put that on you. We want our kids to be able to, but that was a mistake. Because it's always there. The same people, we always show the picture of the little girl. What was her name? Ruby Bridges?
Ruby, yeah.
Alive. Had to have the National Guard walk her into school. But you know who else is still alive? All them people that the National Guard was holding back from spitting on a 5-year-old girl and calling a 5-year-old girl racial slurs and doing all that on a 5-year-old girl just trying to go to fucking school. Those people are still alive too. And they had kids. So you can't do that. It's too many young Black and Latino, quite frankly, because a lot of you don't understand that you only got here because of the Civil Rights Movement, because of the Immigration Act of 1965, because before that, they were not letting you in.
No.
Okay? Stop. You need to know, because if you don't, then you get fooled by carnival barkers like Trump. And you get fooled by people like Mark Lamont Hill and Jill Stein and the Don't Vote and all of this. Like, silly. Bro, we just really got the ability to vote very recently.
Like,
in school literally. Integration, people laughed at Kamala Harris, but like busing and all that was in the 70s and the 80s, bro. Yep. That's not that long ago. And you know why? Because way back in 1955, they said they had to integrate schools, and they just hemmed and hawed and dragged their feet and didn't want to do it, all the way up to 1970, where the Supreme Court was finally like, hey, you got to do it right now. You got to put these kids on the buses right now and integrate these fucking schools. It's been 20 fucking years and y'all ain't doing shit.
Right.
So stop letting your kids live in a la la land. Teach them their history, because you end up back in Jim Crow when you don't know.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting too, because it's like you have social media like TikTok where people feel like you can learn about all the things in the world, but for some reason, like the actual history of how, you know, Black people and hence everybody else got rights, it's glossed over so much, and it's taken for granted, and it's sort of just like, now it's focusing on things like microaggressions. It's just like, I don't think you understand. Like, I don't care about a microaggression. What I fucking care about is that someone is not renting a house to me because I am Black. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things, and people think we're so far past that. I'm just like, no, sweetie, like, we are still dealing with that.
And it's only laws that had to be fought in court that got
that
you
are currently being overturned, mind you.
Currently being overturned. That got you to that point.
Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act, it is on life support. Like, literally, it is currently about to be.
These fucking immigrants, they can't do that in America. It's illegal. What is illegal is what the courts say. And that's the part you guys don't understand. It took hundreds of years of fighting for people to be able to get in 1955 to say, hey, everybody's equal. You gotta let them go to school equally. That's the part that's frustrating. Because y'all come here, been here 5 minutes, and want to tell the people who fought for hundreds of 100 years to get just a little bit that we don't know what we talking about.
Right. So,
and now look at you running for your lives.
I think you're 100% on point. I think that a lot of re-education needs to happen, particularly for the young Black folks who, you know, want to say they're on the front lines of, you know, whatever cause, you know, but
insulting Angela Davis, and people who have sacrificed so much more than you will ever know, so that you could be the fucking ignorant little snot that you are.
Yes.
Because it used to be a day where that'd get you strung up. Like, you couldn't even look white people in the eye back in the day. You couldn't even look them in the eye.
Stepping off the sidewalk. Well, I think that we've covered a ton today, but for a little housekeeping. So I think we decided on like a every other week type of cadence here.
We're busy.
Like, we got bills to pay, and people be traveling. I'll be out in LA for the Grammys.
I don't get to travel in my job.
Well, not actually going to the Grammys.
My cottons.
But thankfully, like, my general counsel and stuff will be out there, so I'll be able to like swing it as like part of work. But yeah, we'll be back again soonish with the another episode. But like, we'll try to get into like legit regular cadence. But thank you for listening. This is In Charge of the Girls.
In Charge of the Girls.
We'll see you next time.
All right, peace.